James Garner, born James Scott Garner on April 7, 1928, in Norman, Oklahoma, rose to become one of the most trusted, familiar faces in American entertainment. Yet his path to Hollywood was anything but easy. He came of age during the Great Depression, a time when survival meant hard work, thrift, and learning to get by with very little. When his mother died while he was still a child, and with his father struggling to hold the family together, young James learned self-reliance early. That independence, born out of hardship, shaped both his life and the grounded, relatable characters he would one day bring to the screen. Before Hollywood, Garner put on a very different uniform. He served in the United States Army during the Korean War. That experience etched discipline, humility, and courage deep into his character. He was never one for bluster or show, and those qualities carried over into his acting. When the war ended, he turned his sights toward a dream. He studied at the University of Oklahoma, dabbled in local theater, and soon caught the attention of casting directors. His calm presence, good looks, and approachable charm stood out immediately. Then came the breakthrough that changed everything, Maverick, which ran from 1957 to 1962. As Brett Maverick, he played a wily, quick-witted gambler who could charm his way out of trouble just as easily as he could win a hand of cards. Audiences loved it. Garner's timing, his sly humor, and his ability to make even a roguish character feel decent and human made him unforgettable. Maverick became a television landmark, and the role gave Garner his first taste of lasting stardom. From there, he proved he wasn't confined to television. He transitioned seamlessly into film, showing he could handle any genre. In 1963, he starred in The Great Escape, playing Robert the Scrounger Hendley, a role that cemented his ability to carry major films while still keeping his warmth intact. That same year, he headlined the romantic comedy The Thrill of It All, showing his lighter side. By 1966, he was tackling prestige dramas like Grand Prix, diving into high-octane racing scenes. Whether action, comedy, or romance, critics praised the same things: his authenticity, his wit, and his uncanny ability to make audiences feel like they truly knew the man behind the character. Garner also proved he wasn't afraid to stand up for himself. When Warner Brothers tried to mistreat him on contract terms, he fought back with a landmark lawsuit and won. That case helped secure better rights for actors across the industry. It wasn't just on screen that he showed courage. In real life, he backed it up. Television welcomed him home again in a major way with the Rockford Files, 1974 to 1980. As private investigator Jim Rockford, he created one of the most memorable TV characters of all time, a man who mixed humor, vulnerability, and intelligence with just enough grit. The role earned him multiple Emmy Awards and cemented his place as small-screen royalty, but fame never changed his center. Off-camera, Garner was known for his kindness and humility. He quietly supported charities, gave generously without fanfare, and treated co-stars, directors, and crew with respect. He had no use for arrogance. He believed in decency, above all. His private life reflected the same steadiness. In 1956, he met Lois Josephine Fleischman Clark at a party. Within 16 days, on August 17, 1956, they were married. Garner would later laugh about the whirlwind, saying, "We went to dinner every night for 14 nights. I was just absolutely nuts about her. I spent $77 on our honeymoon, and it about broke me." He also had a wry way of describing marriage. Marriage is like the army. Everyone complains, but you'd be surprised at the large number of people who re-enlist. Lois practiced Judaism, and Garner embraced her faith as part of their family's fabric. She already had a daughter, recovering from polio at the time, and Garner stepped into the role of father with tenderness and patience. On January 4, 1958, he and Lois welcomed their daughter Greta, affectionately called Gigi. Garner adored her, speaking proudly of her in interviews. Their marriage wasn't without struggles. They separated briefly in 1970 and again in 1979, but reconciled for good in September 1981. By the time Garner passed away in 2014, They had shared nearly 58 years together, a rarity in Hollywood, and proof that real love can last a lifetime. Over the years, people love to compare Garner to another Hollywood icon, Tom Selleck. Both were tall, charismatic, and naturally charming. Eventually, Garner himself addressed it, his voice carrying that familiar gravelly warmth fans knew so well. "I've known Tom for a very long time," he said. "He's one of the finest actors I've ever had the pleasure of working with, and more importantly, a man of great integrity." He explained that their friendship wasn't built on publicity tours or photo shoots, but in the long, grueling hours on set. "We've both faced the kind of pressure that either breaks you or makes you stronger." More than once, Tom showed up not just prepared, but determined to lift the spirits of everyone around him. That kind of generosity is rare. And what about the constant comparisons? Garner laughed. "People love to rank and measure. Tom and I always did our own thing. Sure, we're both actors, and sure, we both had hits. But you don't stack one against the other. We bring different flavors. There's no competition in friendship. There's mutual respect." He even credited Selleck with teaching him something valuable. "I can be headstrong," Garner admitted. "Tom has a calm that settles a room. When a scene isn't working or tempers run hot, Tom steadies things. It's not just about acting, it's about being human under pressure." And then he added one more word: trust. You can't talk about Tom without mentioning trust. "We've been through a lot in this business. I know I can rely on him, and I hope he feels the same about me." Behind the charm, Garner endured plenty of physical trials. The stunts and long shoots of the Rockford Files punished his body, especially his knees. By the 1970s, he was in constant pain, enduring 6 or 7 knee surgeries before eventually having both knees replaced in 2000. His heart gave him scares too. On April 22, 1988, he underwent quintuple bypass surgery. Doctors warned him to quit smoking, a habit he'd picked up as a boy. His daughter Gigi once recalled, "My dad had smoked since he was 12 years old. Still, he didn't finally quit until 2005. Then, in 2008, he suffered a severe stroke. On May 11th, just 2 days later, he underwent surgery. Doctors called the prognosis very positive, and once again his resilience carried him through. But on July 19th, 2014, first responders were called to his Brentwood home in Los Angeles. James Garner had passed away at 86. The cause was a heart attack tied to coronary artery disease and the lingering effects of his stroke. Even so, his legacy remains untarnished. From 1957 to 1962 on Maverick, to 1974 to 1980 on The Rockford Files, to films like The Great Escape, 1963, and Grand Prix, 1966, Garner embodied characters who were decent, charming, and deeply human. He never relied on swagger alone. He gave audiences humor and truth in the same moment. Off-screen, he fought for fairness, honored his wife's faith, and loved his family with devotion. He was imperfect, those knees, the cigarettes, the stubborn streak, but that only made him more real. He felt true, and maybe that's why James Garner is still beloved today. Because whether playing Brett Maverick, Jim Rockford, or simply being himself, he showed us that integrity, patience, and trust are the real legacies worth leaving behind.